Good morning, everyone. There we go. Let's get all this. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Healing Hour. I am your host, Sarah Fargo O'Brien, and we have a special show for you today. My buddy is on, Trevor Martin. We got to work. Oh gosh, it's been like over a year now. We got to work on a project together, a book, an anthology. Last year, and got to know each other, and we have some crossover in our stories, and just good heart for humans and empowering folks, and he's like fantastic at it. And so we're going to be talking today about how entrepreneurship has been healing for Trevor. I talked about that 2 weeks ago on my show on October 2nd, I think. And if you guys have been paying attention, following me, there was no show on the 9th because it was my birthday. Hooray. And I was in Hawaii. Hooray. And I'm still trying to get back on East Coast time. So I don't know what day it is, and I don't know what time it is, but for most, it's 11 o'clock for this show. And it's going to be a good conversation today. I don't think I have a lot of other updates. I'm, like I said, coming back from travel, trying to get my head on straight. My dogs have been glued to me. Why would you ever leave us, Mom? How dare you? Dad is not nearly as exciting. He doesn't give us treats. He doesn't play with us. Where have you been? So they're here in my office with me this morning. They're usually pretty good. Let's hope they stay asleep and quiet. And yes, I have guests coming up for the rest of the month. Next month, I have Nicole Lewis-Keeber, also talking about the same topic. And I have Nick and Jai Galindo, who also worked on the anthology project, actually with Trevor and I last year, on at the end of the month. So let's take our 3 deep breaths, and then I will pull up Trevor and we will dive right in. So we know the Healing Hour is all about topics that for healing, which for me, could literally be anything. As we're talking about all people in all contexts, that could mean many things. But one of the greatest ways that we can find some peace and some calm and reducing stress, both in our nervous systems and what we can feel on the outside, is deep breathing. So 3 breaths in, 3 breaths out. Try to extend your exhale. Here we go. Breath number 1. Breathe in. And a slow out. Breath number 2. Last one. Okay. That always grounds me a little bit so that I'm not all over the place. And I am happy now to introduce my amazing guest, Trevor Martin. Clap, 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 clap. If I was real good, which Trevor probably is on his show, right? He has some sort of background clapping. Jason had
Not yet, but I'm gonna.
Right? Jason had that when he was on my show, and I was like, oh man, that's so good. I need one of those. There you go. There you go. So Trevor is with us. Trevor, good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. I gotta tell you, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. Your spirit and your joy. My face hurts already from just the smiles. Based off of the conversation before you click go. So that was awesome. No, honored to be here. Really am, and I loved working with you on that project. That's how we got connected, and just honored to be here.
Yeah, it was awesome. We both wrote in a book called Bullied, How I Got By. We both have been bullied in different kinds of ways. Very powerful story that Trevor wrote. I definitely recommend it. And a lot of your art was kind of based off that, to get started, right? And so as we jump off here, well, first of all, tell us who you are, where you are in the world, and what you do.
No problem. So my name is Trevor Martin. I'm originally from the great state of Tennessee. Go Vols! I live in Iowa with my family, my wife Jamie, and our 3 kids. And I am the director of marketing for a company called American Antique Hardwoods. That's my 9 to 5, right? But on the side, I have my company. I know we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. I have my company, RMF Brands, and underneath that is Way of the Warrior, my podcast, and
Yes.
my art studio called Comic Threat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
I love it.
all of those encompassing. My main purpose is now is actually just creating graphic novels, creating comic books, with a focus of really helping others tell their story. So if an individual's like, you know what, I don't know how, I don't know how to get my story out there, words wise or graphically,
Right.
I'm here to help. And that's, so I try to use those gifts to try to use those gifts to pay it forward and help others get their story out.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you get started in that? Right? Like, you're an
Oh,
amazing graphic artist. I love this. I
thank you.
actually have a couple of young clients that are graphic artists and into comic books, and I have learned an incredible amount, right? When you're like a therapist for somebody and they're into something, it's like, teach me all about it. And it's been really cool to like hear how they've like got into it, how they like find people and like get started. And I have one client that I love. I love her. I'm always like, well, what are you working on? And she has the most interesting things. And one she's working on now is like a vampire
Oh, that's sick. I love
who
vampire.
has a bakery. And it's just like, right? It's just the cool. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know how you come up with this stuff. It's amazing. I'm always like, well, show me what you're working on. Show me what you're working on. So, how did you get into this? Because this is not marketing.
Yeah, that's not well. And to be fair, like talking about the marketing, I started this gig, but the marketing side really appeals to me because of the artistic aspect that goes with it, right? The
Right.
branding, the coming
The
up with
branding.
the logos, and like, hey, how are we going to advertise this? How are we going to how are we going to infiltrate this part of the market? So with that branding, but so to kind of rewind, I've been drawing since I can remember. I've been drawing since I was little. I've had that gift. I was raised in a very strict Christian home. So as time went along, I had some traumatic experiences at a young age, and then when we get into high school, because of that upbringing, because that very strict, Christian focused upbringing. I was in a Christian school from kindergarten to 8th grade. So you can
Okay.
imagine my first day of high school in a public school. I'm like, I look like a Jehovah's Witness getting on the bus. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it is this shell shock. So
Yeah.
I find out through bullying and everything in high school. I'm like, okay, I can't seem to make friends. I can't seem to find a way out of this hell. I'm going to turn to what I was good at, and that was art. So about this time, coming to high school, started to find out about superheroes, superheroines, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I gravitate towards those superheroes that got some serious anger issues, like the Hulk, Wolverine, Deadpool, Batman, right? There's
Yes. Deadpool's the best
there's
example of that.
there's some that Deadpool Wolverine when they're in the
Deadpool's
van
fantastic.
and Wolverine just chews his ass, like it's so good. But all of those, like I could relate to those characters, and so I would start to draw those in the margins of my notebook. And
Mm.
those, so I came back with my imagination. I'm like, all right, that's going to be my protection. My imagination's going to be my stronghold against the the bullying and the other things that I was experiencing. And so I just continued to draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. And I continued to make sure that as I was going through these experiences, I just kept that pencil sharp, and um, yeah, it
Was
helped
that
me
like the
through.
way
It
you
helped me
kinda
through a
like
lot.
coped too? It's
Hmm.
like I'm channeling like emotion through this
Yeah,
and then also yeah, like loneliness or not having friends. It's like, yeah, it's all coming out through here.
yeah. I actually entered into art therapy for a time,
Ooh,
to where you simply draw and you draw your feeling.
awesome.
You draw what you're feeling, right? You take that inner whatever. So there's a lot of rage on paper, right?
Dude,
But
mine is words, but I feel
yes,
you all
right.
day.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
rage on paper. Yes.
but what's amazing about this is sometimes you sit back. We talk about I don't want to say an out of body experience, but let's say let's say you're drawing, right? You're just in it, and this is from writing. You're in it. You're like clickety clack, right? You're going, and then you're like, you know what? I need to take a breather. I'm really in this. So you take a step back. Maybe you go have a cup of coffee. Maybe you go outside and smoke a cigarette. You come back in, and you look with a fresh set of eyes because you went out there, had some other thoughts, and you come back in. You look at this and you go, "Oh, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. There's a lot here to unpack. Oh my God!" Right?
Right.
And I found out through all of this, to fast forward to where I am today. I'm 45 years old. And for the longest time, I did not want to share any of my art. I didn't. It was through art therapy. It was through other conversations, with my wife, with my family, things like that. Hey, share this. You need to let this go. This part of you go. Get out there and share it. You don't know what kind of impact that could have. The minute that I did that, my entire view on art actually leveled up, because I was able to see the impact that it could have on others, and what they were, and how it could help them navigate maybe something that they were going through.
Yep. That's awesome. When was that? How old were you when you started doing that? Because I'm just thinking of my own journey of didn't say it out loud for a long time.
Like 2 years ago.
Oh,
2 years ago is when I.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like 2 years ago is when I
started doing it too. Yeah.
Saying
it out loud, right?
Absolutely saying out, and you start to sit there. You go, hold on a second. Like, I literally sat in the chair. There's a chair around the other side of my desk. I sat in the chair and I'm like, I kind of feel shitty about this. I feel guilty. Why did I wait so long to really share my art with others? Now, I will say this. I think for me, a lot of it was, I felt like there was the guilt about not sharing the art, but there was also a part of me that felt really guilty or shitty about how I got to the point to where I was going to share my art. What I mean by that is, when I was bullied, I came out of that bullying era a total asshole. I was skinny at the time. I was really, really small. My metabolism slows down. I figure out I can I put muscle on the frame, and I figure out, oh my gosh, I'm bigger. Now I don't move for people in hallways. They move for me. Then you throw ink on top of that. And now you've got the intimidation factor.
You got just
now you're like, oh man, I have a power. Oh, you remember what everybody did to me? Well, guess what? Guess who's in town now? And so now you have a dude that's been bullied, that has narcissistic tendencies and a God complex and a chip on his shoulder.
You're like the male version of me, dude. This is like my story all day.
And it was bad. It was bad. I hurt so many people with not only my words and not only more so my actions. I was just a dick.
Yeah.
I can't really describe it any other way. Well, what happens is you go on through, you have your journey, right? Your discovery. And I don't want to put quotes up there. I'm not knocking it, but most people have one. You hit a point in time where you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, yep, you're a dick. You need to change.
You have work to do, right? That's me. It's like, oh, fuck, you have work to do. Yeah.
And so you start on that journey, and you find out, you're like, you know what? I'm changing, and I'm doing it now. I'm going to do it now. You should watch. Everybody just watch. And then you start telling people, hey, I'm changing. Hey, look, I'm changing. And they go, yeah, so, yeah, you are. Yeah.
Sure, okay.
There's a mask. Yeah. There's a mask there. We don't believe you. You have to face the facts that your credibility is shit. It's shot. Mm-hmm. So you now have another choice to make. You can face the music that everybody else is telling you. We don't believe you yet. Yeah. We don't believe you. Yeah. And it's years, and I'm still facing it. And I will for eternity. I believe that. There's going to be certain people that are just like, okay. And that's fine.
Right. Yeah.
But you have to understand that it takes so much time. And so the art healing, the art therapy, all of the healing, all of that is still going on. It still happens. It's still going on today. And what fuels me the most is knowing, that I have my family support, obviously, but knowing that it does not it doesn't matter. So sure, I've been a shitty human, but my pencil on the paper, my pen on the paper, and the message I'm sending to somebody else for help doesn't matter what the type of human I've been. What matters is this moment right now, and that
Right.
the moment isn't about me. It's not
Right.
about my past actions. It's not about my current action. Right now is about the message I'm trying to deliver to somebody else because it's for them. It's about them.
Right.
And that in turn helps, helps heal me, it keeps me in line, keeps me in check.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about finally stepping out, talking about my childhood trauma and, mine perpetuated by my family system. It's like, I don't think any of them, I'm completely estranged from everybody pretty much. And so I don't think they watch any of my stuff or read any of my stuff. But if they did, like, they probably wouldn't be super happy about it. And that's part of the reason, like, I didn't say anything for so long. It's like, it makes them look bad. It like, but it's like, it's not about them looking bad. This is my story. This happened. This
Yeah.
impacted me. This is who it was, and this is what happened. And I'm not necessarily trying to like shit on my family all the time, but it's like I gotta say what's real and what's true. And I think that the other thing about my life, what I've always said, and you maybe will relate some to this, that like I'm a nerd trapped in a cool kid's body, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like be conceited or whatever, but I like meet general standards of like attractability and whatever. And so people have like a certain idea, right, of like who you are, where you came from, what your life is like, because you look
Yeah.
like this, sound like this, like whatever the case may be. And in mine, it was like, oh, you came from like the perfect family, like intact, right? Like my parents were married, they didn't divorce. I'm the youngest with two older brothers, right? Like we had a house and two dogs and whatever. And it was chaos and hell inside my house, right? It was emotional and verbal and psychological abuse more than like physical abuse or anything like that. But it was super damaging. And I got really good at masking and achieving, right? Achieving for positive affirmation that I was never getting anyplace else, right? So I was a hard worker and studious and followed all the rules, right? I
Yeah.
perfectionist and just did all the things, and like that got me pretty far, I'm not gonna lie. But then it also is rough on my body and my health. And like that's like 2-3 years ago, and doing a deep dive into my trauma healing, it was like I have to stop like not saying like the words I want to say about it, right? Like trying to sugarcoat it or explain it away or say it's really more this than that. And let me tell you, even me recognizing like the early childhood trauma and the impact was like, woof, like it was like, this is where I need to start, like I started and I've been in therapy damn near 20 years trying to like undo stuff. But and most people know my brother died. He was killed in the Iraq war in 2006. And like from this, so I was 20 years old, almost 20 years ago, 20 years old when he died. And like that's kind of where I started my work. And then it was like, oh, there was a whole bunch of shit that happened before I was 20 that I haven't even like stepped into yet. And
Yeah.
that was the stuff that was more uncomfortable for me to like talk about, get out there, write about. And even though I'm in mental health and a therapist and I hear everybody else's story, and I would, never shame anybody and totally affirm their experience. Like I was great at like not affirming my own experience, right? Or beating myself up or this or that. And realizing like I need to just say what I need to say. Like I need to say it out loud, and saying it once and then again and again and again, right? And it becomes
Yeah.
easier, and then it's cathartic and healing for me to not be like holding it in, stuffing it down to function the way that I'm supposed to, right? To achieve the things, to check the boxes, to do right by people. Not that I feel like it was wrong of me to do right by people, but it was exhausting when people weren't always doing right by me. And I was, denying myself to show up well, basically, right? To like live life the way that you're supposed to. But all along the way, just like you said, I had this unchecked abject rage that would just come out, like recognizing now, like that's a trigger, right? Like I'm activated my nervous system. Some people flee, cry, I'm fight all day. I will fight until I have nothing left, and I'll probably win, and I don't care who you are. I will step right in your face and tell you what I think. And I don't even like feel anything other than just like red rage, right? Like I've described it as like getting hit like in all directions by like lightning bolts. Like it's just like lighting me up, and like that's all I can see, that's all I can feel, and like
Mm.
consequences, forget about it. Like if there were any in
Yeah.
the moment, I don't care. If there are any after the fact, like it's hard to face. I feel shitty about
100%.
I feel shitty about myself. I feel shitty that I treated people this way. I feel shitty that I treated people this way who probably didn't deserve it, but I was like not in a good space or having a bad day. And I think also as like a woman, a lot of time, like that's not said. It's certainly not accepted. Like the number of things I've been called, as a result of that. I'm not a sit down and be quiet kind of person, but I'm not the only one, and I think for me, it was having to realize like there's nothing wrong with you, and you're not the only one who responds this way. And
Yeah.
that was helpful, right? Like, and then so along the way for you in getting your story out has been helpful for other people. Has there been anybody's story that's been helpful for you?
You know, um, let me think about this. My story that's been helpful for me. Actually, yes, there's been several people that I've come into. You always it's you got to be careful with that whole comparison game, right? You got to be careful because you're like, oh man,
Yes.
like oh shit, like their story and what they went through was way worse than mine. I
Oh my
feel I
gosh,
should be
right?
blessed, right? But you got to embrace what you went through, and you got to go through your own
Yes,
healing.
I
But
agree with that.
there
And
are
it can be
times
really
there are
easy to
times
do that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There are times where I've heard somebody's story on Way of the Warrior, or I've just a discussion, and I'm sitting here going, that that is a lot, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. And wow. And so yes, there are stories that have impacted me, that have definitely steered me and my art in a certain direction. There's a young, I would say recently, there's a young boy. Not gonna mention names, but there's a young boy that's going through hell, and his family talks about it openly on LinkedIn. And he's got health issues that he's facing, and I struggle. I openly say that I struggle with my faith, right? With what I believe in, what higher power, et cetera, et cetera. But I swear to God, every time I see this kid's face, this young boy's face on LinkedIn, on his father's posting about it, or his mother, I know the struggle that this kid is going through, and I see him smiling. He's got a tube coming out of his nose or whatever, but I see the joy, the smile there, and I'm thinking how he must not fully understand what he's facing, what he's going through, and
Mm,
that's okay. But the
right.
smile that I see, I swear, if there's a higher power, if there's God, if whatever, it's in that boy's smile.
Yeah.
And it's stories, like it's not even a story. It's reality right now. Hopefully someday it's a massive victory story, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be. But right now, that's reality. And though that type of reality impacts me and my healing, because I
Yeah.
think, and you go back to counting the blessings that you have, and now, okay, the blessings that I have, how do I turn that around? And I go, hey, how can I help you? How can I help this little boy? How can I help somebody else? Right. And then I look at my kids, right? Look at and
Yeah.
the things that they're going through in their different stages of life.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, all of those impact how my pen moves.
Yeah.
Um, I want there's a song that really, we were talking about past and how it can impact how it can impact your present. And a lot of times you got to let go of
Yeah.
those chat. But there's a song by Teddy Swims, and it's called Small Hands.
Okay.
And it's talking about his little daughter. It's talking about his child, and how that touch, or that her being in existence, she looks at him with just love. Doesn't
Right.
care about past, present, or future. Just love in the moment. It's just love right there. And for so long, and still dealing with it, still battling, still struggling. I'm sure I will forever. But for so long, I've been trying to find ways to where I'm not deserving of that love, or I'm not going to
Oh
accept that love. Or
gosh.
I'm just like right, I got like okay, the love's here, and I see it, but I'm just gonna wait for the other shoe to drop because clearly I don't own that. So I'm whether there's penance from God, a God, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
Just all of the things instead of just sitting here going, "Holy shit, she loves me. She's looking right at me. She's
Yeah. Let me just
like that's my
accept that
yes,
in this
right,
moment. Right.
yep,
Yeah. And yeah. Right. Like that's accepting love is equally as difficult as like managing the abject rage, like in my life.
100%,
Right.
100%.
I love that you like touched on the religion thing. Like same for me. And I didn't grow up in a religious family, so really I'm like the black sheep because I came to it when they weren't about it. So for everybody thought I was like wacky then, right? But in my healing journey and like trying to address my trauma and really figure out what's wrong, I got psychological testing done, found out I have OCD for real. And mine is a lot wrapped up in religion and religious beliefs. And a lot of that perfectionism and doing what I'm supposed to um, is around that, right? Like, I
Yeah,
need to do this. I need to do that. I need to pray. I need to go to church. I need to surf. I need to da, 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 da. And that has impacted for sure, like now in my healing of like where do these things fit? Like I know that I have a faith that has made me surpass like all the shit that I've been through, but practicing this and then I have a bunch of relational trauma, so once we get into like an actual church and people, like I have a whole bunch of other bad experiences, right? And hurt.
ditto.
And so then it's complicated, right? Like it's, and I always feel like I don't fit, it's like me particularly, it's like I don't feel like I fit in the secular world and I don't feel like I fit in the religion world. Like I'm somewhere in between. And it's like, so then I never really fit in either space. It's like I'm too religious and too Jesus-y for like people who don't believe anything. And then I'm like way too left field and say fuck way too much, right?
Oh, preach.
Right. Yeah, I know that right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the people in the church. And it's like, oh man, like, so that has been like a whole other, like, subset in my healing journey that I have to like sort through and make peace with, and then figure out like where I fit in all that. And I hear you, but I also feel at the same time like I'd be dead in a gutter if Jesus hadn't saved me a long time ago. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like I shouldn't be here. Like I shouldn't be successful. I shouldn't be functioning probably the way that I am. Like something's been looking out for me in some way, even if I couldn't see it or denied it for like a long time, right? It was like, I'm here doing it. It's all me. It's all me. It's like, it's probably not all me because I don't have that much power and control.
I appreciate. So one of the things that I say a lot is I like to say, hey, I appreciate the passion that you have when you speak about your faith, because regardless of whether I believe it or not, I mean that's me, right? That's my call. It's not my call to be like, oh, you silly goose, like how are you? I can't believe I just said silly goose. Yeah, and we're live, so that's cool. I can't be like, hey, can
You
you
have a
edit
2-year-old.
out?
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to look all badass over here. I'm like, you
Silly goose.
silly goose. Okay, that's cool, and we're done here. but I'm
So badass, Trevor.
yeah,
You're
but
so badass.
you look at the way that people, there is a passion about that. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong, but
Fair.
I'm excited that you found, right? You said I've been dead in the gutter if it wasn't for Jesus. Hey, you identified your saving grace. And while that saving grace may look different from me, I applaud you that you found yours, and I support you in the fact that you found yours.
Right.
Whatever the name is that you give it.
I love it.
And I think that the more I'm learning more and more in the conversations I have, because I will be honest, I am bullheaded, I am stubborn. And there was a comment that was I did a picture. I love Aslan Allen's words. He does a lot of poetry on LinkedIn, and he talks a lot about the Bible and about the Lord and all things like that. And I sometimes I push back with different ways, forms of thinking. And he inspired inspiration to do. I did a painting of the crucifixion on
Oh yeah,
LinkedIn, and I posted this,
I saw that.
and
Yeah.
there was a comment that was made that I absolutely love, and I cannot remember who said it, but the comment stuck with me. The comment was pretty much, "Hey Trevor, why does it matter where the message comes from, or even if the message is actually authentic or whatever, all of the things that you're searching for, Trevor, why does it actually matter that it came from Jesus, whatever? The message is, hey, be good, do good, treat others with kindness,
Mm-hmm.
support them, and above all others is love, right? Above all of these is
Right.
love." And the guy wasn't saying, "Trevor, you're a dumbass for asking these questions," or "Oh my gosh, you're going to hell because you're asking these questions you don't believe." Wow. He just says, "Hey, question, what's it matter? Right? What does it matter that you are, or who said it?
Yeah.
What matters is what you do with the message, instead of
Right.
focusing." And
I love
he
that.
said it's so hard for me to let
Right.
go of it, but instead of focusing all the, "Hey, I've got another question. Hey, why don't you focus on living
Right.
with intent, with that purpose of that, putting that kindness and that goodness out there?" And that one hit hard.
And I feel that, right? And I feel that in a number of ways because I've had to battle a lot with, okay, the people at church are supposed to be demonstrating that, yet that's never what I feel like I receive from them. Right.
Right.
And then me having a battle of like, well, what the fuck is it supposed to be then? Like, how do you do this? Because everybody's judging me for saying fuck too much or whatever. But like, but my
Yeah.
heart is pure gold, like
Yeah.
I'm loyal. I want to help you. I'll be in the shit with you, right? Like be in the
Yeah.
shit with me then. And then that's never reciprocated, right? Like it's one of those things I do
Yeah.
right by people. My intent, my purpose is right. Okay, I want this done for me. I'm not going to judge whoever for whatever, right? It's like I'm just going to show up and that not getting reciprocated has often been like, well, what is this supposed to be then? Like it's just it's times in my life just put me in this like tailspin of like, where do you go? That like what is
Yeah.
what? And then it's like, am I wrong? Am I getting it wrong? Or are they getting it wrong? Like, what's going on here? Like it just doesn't seem to match. Again, like I don't really fit in either one, like either world really, but being like, doesn't matter what package it comes in. Like you try, no, and
Yeah.
it doesn't
It
for
doesn't.
me at all, right? Like I'm because you can't judge me by the cover. I'm like one of those people, 100%. You cannot judge by a book by a cover, right? You think that I'm like cool kid, I'm super confident, I'm out here like slaying and like, no, Sarah did not do that. Not single, not aware, not whatever. Oh, are you flirting with me? I don't have a damn clue because I'm just taking people as they are, and I'm a huge nerd and a huge goody goody, right? And like before, like scared of tons of shit, and
Yeah.
it's not what you would think. None of it's what you would think. So if I know that's true for me, then I got to believe that that's true for other people, and I can't judge them by what I see. I got to get to
Mm.
know them. I don't know. Maybe this led into me being a therapist because I'm pretty good at asking questions to get to know people now at this point, right? And like it's the most interesting thing to me. Like I'll do that anywhere. And I was just telling Trevor, and for you that don't know, I went to Hawaii last week to celebrate my 40th birthday on a solo trip. And several people have been like, wow, I can't believe you did that. That's so brave of you. One of my clients was awesome. He was like, you're like an icon. And I was like, you're my favorite, man. Like, what is that? I was like, this doesn't feel hard for me, And I was telling Trevor, I met this guy. He was super nice to me on my birthday, walking around with this dog Peaches. And my cousin was just like, that's insane. I would assume somebody is just gonna kill me. And I'm like, that is not what's going on for me, right? Like I'm just like, If you're nice and friendly and chatting, great. Here we go. I don't care if you're 60 years old
Yeah.
walking your 10-pound chihuahua named Peaches, you know, like, and I love it. His shirt said, you would love this whole dude was like awesome. He like made my day. He said, let's hug it out, bitch. His shirt said, let's, and I'm like, these are my people all day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm not like, what do you mean brave? Like, this isn't scary. Like, these are just people. And like, I don't need to judge them. It's like, how are you treating me? Like, you know what I mean? And at the same time, I'm with you, Trevor, on I didn't always treat people well. And I really, really need some people to understand that that came from a place of trauma. And like in my heart of hearts, I'm not an asshole. Right. Like
Yeah.
I've had, like you, been had an asshole tendencies, been a total dick, abject rage, all of those things, not purposeful. I probably was not real aware or present like when it was all happening. And that's part of the reason I speak out about like the anger and all the shit that I did, because I also want people to understand this is a trauma response, right? Like something's triggered in me. Like I'm not going around just trying to fight people for no reason, right? It's like something got ignited in me. And that's the other thing. Like for you and for me and for anybody else, there's got to be some compassion in there for the shit. And it's like you can't show up well when you're in the shit. You're gonna
Yeah.
show up like a shit. You know what I mean? And like there's somebody somewhere, maybe in all of us deep down, as difficult it is to deal with people with those types of behaviors, right? Like I find those people difficult to deal with. I'm sure I know 100% I have been difficult to deal with. And at the same time, I still need love and compassion to like get through that, get out of that, have an outlet for that, right? Whether it's writing, whether it's drawing, whether it's singing. The other thing I like to do is rap. And so like I'll listen to them and I'll learn all the raps. It's like a awesome thing for my brain. And then like you said with the song and making you feel that way, my music will do that all day. Like I'll listen to raps if I want to feel confident and I'm like, all right,
Oh,
ready
let's
to go.
go.
You know what I mean? And it's like maybe it's a false bravado for 30 minutes, but damn, it worked and I'm ready to rock it. And so,
Yeah.
or if I'm like trying to get out that rage, that's another thing. It's like loud and up and I'm going and just da 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 da. And yeah, right. And it's like I've had to learn like some outlets for that. So it's not always coming out at other people. But at the same time, I need compassion for that because, you know, unless you're like a true sociopath, which is a very small subset of people in the world, like your assholeness is probably born out of some sort of hurt, you know?
Preach.
And I know you know it, right? Like,
Yeah.
because deep down you're not an asshole, but like it's how you learned how to get by and how to like how to confidence up, right? Like I've had to do the same thing. Um and like I said, some people's, you know, natural response to that hurt is to be a fighter, right? Like to fight it, to fight the
Yeah.
system, fight the bully, to fight whoever, right? To fight whoever triggered. And we got to love the people that are fighting too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you've been talking, I was kept thinking about, that the rage or the anger that we feel, that people say, hey, look, you got to let go of that, right? You got to find a way to release it. You got to find an outlet.
Yeah.
Now, I absolutely 100% agree. You got to find an outlet. You got to release it. Do I think that you heal all the way from it? Do I think that it needs to become non-existent?
Oh, right.
You know what? I don't know. I don't think so. I think
Yeah,
that
me
it
either.
can still. I think it still be a part of you. I think for me, it's
Absolutely.
been a coping mechanism. I think it's been fuel.
Yep.
Some people can be super. Some people say that that's psychologically dangerous, but I would say I can remember a couple of conversations that I've had with God. When I don't want to say my faith was strong, but when I felt like praying, talking, and
Yeah.
there had been a couple instances of loss of life,
Yeah.
um, and it was more of a, we good? My penance paid.
Right.
So are we good? Are we square?
Right.
Like, so,
Yeah.
tit for tat, right? Are
Yeah.
you satisfied?
Yeah.
I would go back to like the book of Job and look at that story and like, oh yeah, okay, so what's going on here? And the anger, I'd be like, are you hearing me? Are you listening to me? Like, okay, did this, thank you. All right, guess that wasn't according to your way. Stepped out of line a couple times, my bad. And this is what is this what you're telling me the result is?
Right.
So now tell me, is my penance paid? And
Yeah.
that kind of anger, though, that those conversations did absolutely nothing for me in the
Right.
sense of healing. They didn't.
Yeah.
I actually probably went backwards a little bit. So what
Fair.
I did instead, what I found out was when I start to feel like that, when I start to feel that anxious, that anxiety creeping up, that, oh my gosh, is a shoe going, what more is going to be tacked on? I just get out a pen and I start to draw. I get out, I start to look at other things, other individuals that need help. And that quiets everything down.
Indeed. Right. And I'm a therapist. So, like, obviously, there's like a whole line of like, became a therapist to heal what wasn't healed for me and then to turn around and heal
Mm-hmm.
that for other people. I find it to be a
Yeah.
privilege. I enjoy hearing people's stories, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Like, none of it does anything to me except it humanizes everybody. Right. And
Oh, 100%.
I have the privilege to sit in the room at this point with thousands of people in my career one on one and listen to their stories. And it's amazing what, I mean, not just you and not just me. It's amazing what people have like been through, get through, come out of, after we swirl around the same thing for a while. And everybody's walk is like different, right? Everybody's walk is a little bit different. And so me being able to sit in the room with people also like helps me suspend my judgment for how, people find their way, right? Their process, their journey, their healing, their awareness. Like that's all part of it, right?
Mm.
Me, I had a lot of like, probably like what you're saying, a lot of lack of awareness about
Yeah.
how I was being and what that effect was on other people. And I was so wrapped up in like the effect that everything had on me, which is really, like you said, like a narcissistic self-centered kind of view of stuff. But it's like, I think where you have to go until you come out of that. And then for me, particularly, like as I talk about in the bullied book, like I was 100% mistreated in my early jobs as a clinical social worker. And even
Yeah.
stepping out now and saying like, this is why there is a problem in this field. You treat us like we're expendable and like we don't need safety at work and like we're not humans, even though we're serving humans. And so for me, becoming an entrepreneur is like literally giving me time and space to work on myself and do the healing I need. Cause man, it's been kicking my ass for 3 years. Like I've been working my ass
Yeah.
off. Like I'm tired a lot of the time. Like doing this work, I would always tell my therapist and other people is like not for the faint of heart. Like if you want to heal this shit, like you got to walk through the fire to get to the other
Yeah.
side. And there just ain't no easy way about it. And it's not fast. I say it's not fun or fast. Like you got to buckle in and like hang
Hold
on,
on.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to come into stuff that you don't want, but I would not have any time or space or emotional capacity for that if I was still at my other jobs. So let me ask you, as we get back to kind of this, even though that you still, have your 9 to 5, how has moving into like RMF and doing some of your own thing, becoming an entrepreneur been part of your healing other than like awesome outlet with your art?
So that's an amazing question. So RMF actually was therapeutic because the name itself originated from an idea from my wife, and then the kids helped name it, helped follow suit. We kind of all worked together on creating that name. Um, I think when we look at that when you talk about that safety within that and
Mhm.
that healing within that entrepreneurial mindset, there's healing in knowing that you were able to do something yourself. So let's say and well, yeah, I'll go with this. Let's say that you have parents, right? Maybe they're overbearing, I don't know, but let's just say that they're like, you're a failure. I thought you would be better, I really did.
Mm,
You know, I expected this. You didn't even come close to, you were down here.
right.
That's disappointing. I hope that you do better next time. And that is what you hear. That's what's repeated to you as you grow from a very young age, as you grow up. Failed again. That's
Yeah.
disappointing. I
Yeah.
hope that you do better. Right. And so you get older, you go through that whole I'm a dick phase and an asshole, right? And you start to build. You get into the corporate world, and the corporate world says, "Oh, you're good enough for this, but you're not good enough for this.
Yep.
We see you here, but we don't see you here. We know
Yep.
that you're wanting to grow. We know that you hear or that you keep talking about, hey, I want to do better. I can do better. I can do more. I can do more. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn. I've proven that I can. So let me do more. Let me do more.
Right.
Yes, just not fitting what we consider
Yes.
the perfect whatever protege, whatever.
Right.
Right. So eventually you sit and go, okay, fine. I've heard it in my personal life.
Yep.
Now I've heard it in my professional life. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go do it on my own terms
Mm-hmm.
because I don't need your terms. I don't agree with your terms.
Right.
And then you're going to go, why did we let him do that? Why is he not sitting at our table anymore? Why is he he just made his own fucking table.
That's
Holy shit. Right? I want that back at my table.
Yeah,
So
right.
right, and
Yeah,
I mean, you
buddy.
see all the cliche sayings on the shirt, right? On the shirts about like forging your own path and all
Yep.
of those things. But there is healing, there is therapy in that, and then looking back behind you and going, oh, who did it? Hold my bear. I did it, right? I did it. Yes, you have help from other individuals along the way,
Sure.
but there's healing that everybody told me I couldn't. Everybody said no. And for me personally,
Agreed. Yeah.
when I was younger, when I would get excited or nervous, I'd stutter. And so people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're never going to talk in front of but you're never going to even be able to make impact because you can't even get words out your mouth, right? Whatever it might be." So when you finally transition, when you finally make that or get to that point where you're like, "What did we just do?" Yeah, we did. Oh, that's us. But that's a dangerous. There's
Yeah.
healing there, but it's also a slippery slope because it can be very dangerous because
Yep.
then you can fall right back into that God complex, that narcissistic behavior
Yeah.
because you're so high on yourself because look what I just did. So for me, it was how do I look at this from a point of grace and gratitude?
Yeah.
There was some pride there. There's some cockiness.
Dude,
But
it took
how do I
it took
make
a little bit.
how do I make sure it did? How do I make sure? And it still does. How
It
do I make
still
sure
does. Yeah, I'm still
that I
there
stay
too.
right? Yeah, 100%.
How do I? And I agree with that, right? Like, and um, I'm like the first person in my family that's had my own business.
Right on.
And yeah, and nobody taught me how to do anything with money
That's
or business
badass.
or whatever. I never took a business class. I never had a business coach. I never had an attorney. I started my practice. It's been around 9 years with like none of that, right? And there is part of me that's like, yeah, nobody can take that away from me. I can't get fired from that job, right? Like I can,
Right?
and
Like
it's also like, and I can adjust it when I need, and then
beautiful.
still make it work. You know, if I've had to do that in the pandemic, I went from completely in person to completely online, hoping I wasn't going to lose my business. I didn't, thank God. In the last 3 years, I've had to cut back and pivot some things so that I had some room for my own healing. Also, still haven't lost my business, thank God. And you know, and there is definitely a part of me that's like, I'm a BAMF. I'm a badass mother because this is not, yeah, I'm a bam. I need the shirt, right? I'm a
Right?
BAMF
Bam.
all day. And like I am super proud of that. Absolutely. And it has been in my anger and my like fuck you, I'll do it myself attitude, that huge chip on my shoulder was major fuel for a long time. It
Preach.
is how I succeeded in anything. If I wouldn't have been angry, like I said, I'd have been dead in a gutter under a rock somewhere. Like it propelled me. It just kept me moving like a shark for a long time. My motto was, I'm like a shark. If I stop moving, I'll die. And I just
Yeah.
don't stop. Just keep going. Just don't stop. And then that had its own consequences on my health and things. And it's like, okay, well, we have to slow down. We have to kind of look at this. But, you know, And I don't know if it's like, I mean, every entrepreneur I've ever met has been a hustler. I've never seen hustlers like I have seen people that are entrepreneurs, like whatever it is, because I guess you're hungry for what you
Oh
want,
yeah,
right? Like, and you have to
always.
go out and create it. Whatever it is, even if you want to like pivot, like I've been trying to pivot into some other business, and my spouse sees it, my therapist tells me like, you're working your ass off at this. That's another, like you said, it's like a slippery slope of whatever you said earlier, right? Like, it's maybe that's not a good psychological mindset to do things. But when I'm like dealing with something and like a mess in my trauma and my emotions, I go to work. Like, I 100%, it's a distraction
Oh
and
yeah.
a coping, but it's like I just go to work. That's what I can do. This is what I'm good at. This I'll just do. I'll just do this. I'll just grow this. I'll just be more. I'll just do more. I'll just be bigger. I'll just be better. I'll just go to work. And so accompanying, my healing in the last few years is like, let's go to work, let's
Yeah.
do what we're gonna do, and just hustling for that. And the older I get, the more I have to recognize like there still has to be a balance. Like,
Right.
that's part of my self-care, but and I have to pay attention to like when I'm avoiding something, maybe still really good at that, by going to work and just like doing it. Um, and getting better, like you said, like, this is a work in progress. Like, I'm not at the finish line, like nowhere near at the finish line. Do not claim to be perfect or have arrived, not at all, and so it's definitely a progressive journey. And
Yeah.
it's like uncovering the like layers of yourself, man. Some of that is so painful, and just like
Oh yeah.
you don't want to look at it, you don't want to do it, you don't want to make peace with it, like forgive yourself. I can't even. That's like a whole other. Forgiving myself is like a whole other thing. So
100%. I think that, I think when you talk about forgiveness, forgiveness is one of the hardest things. So it's one of the hardest things to understand. It's one of the hardest things to give, and it's one of the hardest things to receive.
oh yeah,
So it's one of the hardest things to understand, one of the hardest things to give, and one of the hardest things to receive. Now people are like, whoa, 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 hold on. It's really easy for me to. I can give forgiveness. I'm talking true. I'm talking down to your marrow. I'm talking
in the
true
core,
in the bones
yes.
forgiveness. Like, not just, yes, all right, I forgive you. No, I'm talking about where where you're truly forgiving. And so, like, I 100% agree with you there. And that's something you could totally do a spinoff on. Like, let's talk about forgiveness. Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
But to rewind, you were talking about layers, and I was smiling because Charlie Quinn has found a love for the movie Shrek, and not necessarily 2 and 3, but the first one, which I absolutely love.
The classic.
And yes, and and I think of Shrek and Donkey as they're walking through, it looks like a field, and Shrek is trying to explain what ogres are like. He's like, ogres are like onions, and Donkey's like, what, they stink? And he's like, no. And then he asks all these questions. He's getting pissed, and he's like, they have layers, right? They have layers. Ogres are like, they have layers. And there's so much, we are so intricately made.
Yeah.
There's so much detail. That just makes my head spin. That one of the things that I love about the human species in general is, just like with belief, right? You can find something that gives you peace. You can find
Mhm.
something, some form that gives you healing, and it's going to be totally different from me, totally unique, totally different from me. And it takes all kinds. It takes you, it takes me, it takes anybody watching this day or who has to be there for other individuals to say and understand that they are going to be healing, that they're going to look at that healing and that whole process in a totally different light, in a totally different way. And I think we start to. I'm not licensed. I'm not a therapist. I don't have no degrees on the wall. But in my opinion, it's very dangerous when we start to say, you shouldn't think that way.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't, I hear what you're saying, but this says that you're wrong. So, right. So now you need to do this. I think that we just need to look at things in a different way.
I agree. I don't like the shoulds. In the therapy world, we say should is a 4-letter word, like one that we don't like. So we don't should and don't shouldn't, right? Like, because
Right on.
there's shame in that, there's judgment in that. God, if somebody else says that
Hmm.
to you, how judged do you feel? You shouldn't.
Preach.
Or you
Yep.
should, and it's like, well, how would you know? And I lived a lot of life like that. Like, you should do this. Great. Like, I'll just do that. I grew up military too. So it was like, you just act a certain way. It doesn't matter how you
Yeah.
feel about it. This is how you treat people. It doesn't matter what kind of mood you're in that day. It's like, you just should act like this and do this. And I
100%.
did that. I did that like a champ. You could give me the blue ribbon. I was the best at that. And it just about nearly killed me. And
Yeah.
so for me, I've really had to reconcile, like, how do I do right by people without denying myself, right? How do I treat people the way I want to be treated without this should, like overlay on it? How do I be authentic when that is like a true part of my heart of gold, but I'm not just like doing it the way that everybody says you should, right? This goes back to me being shunned a lot at church for saying fuck, because I'm not doing it the way you should. It's like, but I'm
Right.
still loving full heart, right? Without judgment. Who cares if I threw some colorful words on top? Right? Like the intention is pure, right? Like, and it's in there. So as we like sort of round the corner here, let's do this one. What's one value you live by?
Discipline.
Oh, that's a good one.
Discipline. Got to have it. I mean, that's combined with consistency,
Yep.
but discipline, staying focused on the tasks at hand, and those discipline. You bring that into your life, and those habits, all of those things, all of
Yep.
those things, or sorry, those things that you're focusing on, they start to become habits, and those
Mhm.
habits just continue to build, and the good ones, of course. And when you identify the negative things, having that discipline to focus on those and say, you know what, this needs to be removed, or this needs to be set aside. So I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to tell myself it's going to happen. So discipline for me is it's a must. It's huge. It's key.
I agree with that, right? Like, if it weren't for my discipline, I wouldn't be here. Like, my spouse and I have that conversation
Preach.
all the time, right? Like, I'm an entrepreneur, I work
Yeah.
for myself, and he talks a lot about, like, kind of a little bit like being a slave to his job, and like want to do things on his own. And we talk about it, and it's like, are you motivated and disciplined enough to, like, you see me get up and, like, I don't leave the house, right? I go upstairs, but I work from 10 to 6:30 every day. Like, you got to do it, like,
Yeah.
and nobody's imposing it on me, right? Like, I don't have a structure that says you got to, or a framework that says you got to show up at this place at this time and do your job, right? Like, that's all on
100%.
me. And I've had to be disciplined to do it every day for 9 years, more or less. And whatever other sacrifices I've had to make, and things I have to think about, and stuff I have to plan, where, like, he doesn't. I mean, adjacently he does, because I'm his spouse and I have my own business and stuff that we do there. But he gets to, like, I've had to, like, create the boundaries around it, where he just gets to go and then come home and the boundaries are already there. Right. And he is really disciplined.
Yeah.
He's just like you, like in the gym, he's super disciplined in that way. And like with what he eats, so much so that it's like, oh, I can't do that. Right. But in other
Right.
ways, he's not. And so yeah, I totally agree with that. And, growing up military, there's always like a piece of that, like, that's just got embedded. I mean, that's
100%.
how they ran shit, it's how my dad
Oh
ran
yeah.
shit. Like, that's like, there's a lot of discipline. There was a lot of, like, this is how you do it, and, like, you follow this order. And there's some of that has left me being extremely successful. Yeah, the consistency and discipline, right? It's like, it's not giving up, and it's going to work.
100%.
All right, we've talked about it a little bit, but how do you uplift others in their journeys? I know you do.
I would say just simply through the conversations through Way of the Warrior, the podcast, and then
Yeah.
just simply, and the art, the drawing. I will see somebody struggling on social media, and I'll say, hey, who's your favorite superheroine or superhero? What can I do for right? What can I do for you? How I'm gonna draw you out. I'm gonna, like, show you that you are powerful, that you are badass, that
Right.
there's so much moxie, so much badassery within that you don't even know. You
Right.
tap into that, right? So that's how I try to help others. The same with the Way of the Warrior. The podcast is just like this, right? Talking to another individual, saying, "Hey, let's talk about your story. How are you promoting kindness and goodness back into this dark world? Let's talk about you. Let's bring your story forth so that it can impact others." And then it's just that cycle, right? You bring that goodness out, place it, somebody hears it, boom, they're on a mission, and it just spreads out there like wildfire. So that's it. That's what I do.
And I think like if I piggyback off of that, I feel like we see love and kindness come out from other people when we accept them in their shit and pain and rage, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
judging that. We're just saying, here, come tell us about it. And then you see like the light shine through when you're just like bearing witness, holding space, like being present for them, like you and me today, right? Talking about the shit and like when we were not good people and like can own
100%.
that, right?
Yeah.
And saying like
Yeah.
that's not all of a person, but we have to like accept and have space for that part of a person for the
Agreed.
kindness to be able to come out in them, right? Like
Yeah.
there's like a place for that. And I think that that's awesome. And I think being able to like be real about that, talk about the shit, whatever it is, yours, mine, anyone's. And then it's like you can almost see the weight like lift off people. And then you see like
Absolutely.
you see the light come out of them and you're like, oh yeah, this is what we were trying to get at, right? And
Yep.
it's people want to like beat people into kindness. It's like, well, that ain't gonna work. Like you got to accept them in their shit, and then the kindness comes, right? Then the light starts coming out of them. And I think like that's been true, and I've seen that more and more and more. And I like we need more people to do it, right? Less shame, judgment, and blame, and more like curiosity, acceptance, understanding, at least holding space for the stuff we don't want to talk about, right? Like anger.
Yeah.
And that's been in my post this week because nobody wants to talk about it. And anger for my family, it's like anger and achievement were the only things that I learned, but not anger in a healthy way and not achievement in a
Yeah.
healthy way, right? And so I've had to sort of deconstruct a little bit what those are, accept my anger, but also manage like the reactivity to it. But I think we
Yeah.
gotta talk about it so that I can actually like move through that and other people can move through that. All
Yeah.
right, as we wrap up, what do you have going on next? What's coming up? I mean, you guys have heard he's got the Way of the Warrior podcast. You do that every week. When is that aired?
It's random. I don't do it every week. I usually I'm really kind of getting back up on that horse. So I gonna try to do one every couple weeks.
Okay, cool.
So there's a new drop coming about every other week. So for me, I'm currently working on a couple things. One is going to be a campaign that has to do with a comic book. It's not a graphic novel. This is actually going to be a comic book series. And over my shoulder here, you can see this dude with two swords. So this is a comic book character that was created by myself. I can't tell you the name yet, but it was based off of. Hold on, I'll show you. It was based off of this.
That's so curious.
It was based off of this painting that I did.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. I love that.
So this painting is part of
that guy. Okay.
Is this guy, right?
Okay.
And I'll grab him. Hold on. So he's amazing. Look at him.
How did you make that?
I didn't make it. So I had reached out to a couple individuals who are absolutely awesome at 3D slicing and printing. And so he even got the rebar. It's amazing.
That is amazing.
He just comes right off his little.
Oh my God,
stand.
I love it. Oh
yeah.
God,
So one guy 3D printed it, and then when we go live with this bad boy, they'll get all the credit. But then another one did the painting of the character.
Nice.
And then I got this project has been in the work for like 8 months. But the idea is to release a comic book series with this character, and then hopefully that garners some interest from like Marvel, DC, Image, whatever. So this is the project that I'm currently working on, along with Captain Number 2. So that's the follow up to my first graphic novel with John Kirkhoff, and then there's a spin-off of that with Robin Cottrell. who is the author that's coming out. So a couple other graphic novels coming out
Nice.
this year as well. Yeah,
So
not this year. Sorry, maybe one this year, but we're coming up on the end of the year.
next
So
year, within a year. I got you.
correct.
So are you for your comic book series with that character, are you drawing and writing the story? Are you doing both?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. 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 Oh, Jason says, tell them about Sage also. So there's another comic book Sage that is out there. So I've got the Captain, I've got Sage, and I forgot I need to talk real quick. Joshua McLeod. He has hired Comic Threat to do his work as well for his story. So we're creating a graphic novel for him. Jason was talking about Sage. Give me 1 second. So this is the Captain. And
Jason's all over Sage. He's
so
like, come on.
so this is the Captain. This is
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
the first one, right?
I
So this is the
love
first
that.
one. This is with John Kirkhoff, brilliant author. If you don't know him, you need to. And then
Okay.
this is Sage. This is Sage, the first arc. So this is the second book. Instead of the bonus story. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. So this one I wrote and drew myself.
Nice.
This one was John Kirkhoff did with the author, and I was the artist. So yeah, it's
Nice.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Jason, I love you, bro.
I know, right? I'm so glad that you guys got connected. When he was talking about, so if y'all don't know, Jason has this nonprofit HR4U, definitely always looking for artists. And so when he told me he was looking for artists, this is way back months ago for his for the feet. Gosh, what was it? I just lost it.
Feed for Good.
Feed for Good. Thank you. That just happened last Friday the 10th, guys.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he's gonna really like Trevor's.
It was amazing. It was so fun.
What did you do for that?
So for that, I did a picture of Robin Hood on sitting on a log, throwing up an apple, and then a story with it. So it was a picture and of Robin Hood throwing up an apple, and it was just a story about the spirit of Robin Hood and how that trying to give back to people, like Transformative Kitchen and Feed for Good. That has a huge impact, right? That spirit is passed on. So
that's awesome, right? And so what he's mentioning there, Transformation Kitchen is the part of Jason's nonprofit where it's helping folks who've been overlooked by the system get living wage jobs in the culinary arts, which is Jason's background, and Trevor gets to work with it. And I also am the director of student wellness. So I'll get to be working with our students in Transformation Kitchen. And so, right. And these are all LinkedIn connections for me, folks. Like 100%. I didn't know people before this, but like, it's awesome. And then getting to work with everybody in these capacities. And like, I don't know how you can't like Jason, but like, I knew there'd be like a good connect there. I'm so glad that worked out. Yeah. Since I was in Hawaii last week, I missed it, but Jason did tell me he's sending it to me and I'm going to get to watch it later. So can't wait for that. He said it was amazing. I bet
it was amazing.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. Well, I'm so glad. And it's awesome that worked out and that you guys were able to work on those projects. I love it that that gives you like other places for your art, right? Like that kind of just kind of Venn
I'm blessed.
The whole thing, right? Right.
Yeah.
I love your stuff. It's amazing. I can't wait for the new comic book series.
Thank you. Thank you.
So keep us posted on that. All right. Any last words? Any last anything?
No, just we'll see you out there and kick ass. Like
that's
kick
right.
Absolute whatever you're doing, kick absolute ass.
What is your thing? Like take no quarter? Like
I say give no quarter, and I also say burn the white flag. Like there's no retreat. We don't
right. And give no quarter is my favorite. Yeah. Like nope. We're gonna fight to the end.
Not an inch. You bet. Let's go.
That's right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so appreciative. This is a great conversation. I love where it went and like what we got to talk about, and you being authentic you and me being authentic me. And I really like having this space for that. Like I really just want people to be their real selves because that's what it's about, right? Like you masked and did the thing for a long time. I masked and did the thing for a long time, but actually being able to show up as who you are with saying all the words you want through your whole story, right? Is the healing part, right? Like, and it's healing 100%. For me to be in the presence of other people being themselves. And that allows me to also be myself. So I love it. I'm so appreciative of you being here. All right, you guys, catch me next week. I have my friend Nicole Lewis Keeper on talking about the same topic, and it'll take us in a completely different direction than this, but it'll also be a good show. Don't forget to check out The Way of the Warrior and Trevor's art and comic book coming out.